What's up guys, it's Frogfadog. Can I tell you a joke? Imagine spending $1,000 on a phone. Imagine spending 2,000 Australian dollars on a phone. These guys are just so privileged, aren't they? Paying all this money for such advanced features like better camera, AI. Let's just say you're in the market for a phone and you can't afford these higher end devices. Okay, so what about the mid-range devices or the low-end devices? Nah, they're not for you because they're too poverty. They just compromise on too many things, like being made out of glass on the back so they shatter super easily. But what if I were to tell you that there's a way to get a flagship phone experience without selling your kidneys? And that method is buying used. Oh, I don't want to buy used. Used phones are all bad and slow and old. I want something that's fast and brand new and good. Today, we're going to be taking a look at two flagship phones from 5 years ago. Do you happen to know what year was 5 years ago? That's right, 2019. Do you feel old yet? I think it's time to meet our smartphones. Representing iOS, we have the iPhone 11 Pro. And representing Android, we have the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Yes, the phone is cracked. No, I didn't crack it myself. I bought this phone cracked last week. Cracked smartphones are simply cheaper. Cry about it. We're going to be putting these two phones head to head to see which one is better and which one you should use in 2024. Let's talk about these phones a little more specifically. I got this iPhone from an e-waste bin for free. Someone literally took an iPhone 11 Pro and threw it out into an e-waste bin. They were just like, oh, I don't want this phone anymore, and hucked it. This phone is quite literally in absolutely perfect condition. I just went and threw it out. But I saved it from e-waste and it's now mine. So yeah, it just goes to show just how many phones are thrown away in e-waste every year. It's absolutely ridiculous. As for this Galaxy Note 10, I bought this one off of eBay for $50, including shipping. It was about $39 without it. And these phones are definitely worth more than $50, even cracked. So what exactly is wrong with this phone? To state the obvious, yes, the back glass is cracked. Meh, who cares about the back glass? You can always just slap a case on it. Turning over to the front, you can see that it's also cracked. It's cracked on the bottom, and it's cracked on the top, and it's got lots of scratches in it. But the seller on eBay said that the touchscreen doesn't work, which is why they were selling it for so cheap. However, if I turn the phone on and I swipe up, what? Why is the touchscreen working? The whole point of this phone was that the touchscreen doesn't work, which is why it was $50. Why is the touchscreen working? There is a catch. The touchscreen works, but only on the bottom half of the phone. The top half of the phone is completely unresponsive. Now you might think, oh, that sucks, that's a complete deal breaker, why did you even buy this thing? Let's just say that this Galaxy Note 10 has a little ace up its sleeve. And a little bit of the spoiler shows, oh hey, the entire screen works when using this nifty device, which we will get into in just a little bit. Don't look at that, that spoils it. Alright, let's get into the specifics about each phone, starting off with the iPhone 11 Pro. The iPhone 11 Pro, Apple's first Pro iPhone. Okay, cool. This came out right after the iPhone XS. This is actually an iPhone 10. Yes, it's cracked. Cracked phones cost less money. The iPhone 11 Pro really feels like Apple succumbing to the pressures of Android a little bit, because they did a lot of un-Apple things at the time for this iPhone. For example, they made this phone quite a bit more chunky than the iPhone 10. You can see here just how much more chunky it is. Typically, Apple was all about making their phones thin, making their phones so thin that they literally break. But Apple absolutely beefed up the iPhone 11 Pro in terms of thickness and shoved a really good battery in this. They increased the battery size so much that the iPhone 11 Pro still has one of the best batteries ever shipped into an iPhone. Well, the Pro Max model, because I had an even larger battery. But that was truly a rare move for Apple, giving up a little bit of form for some actual decent function. Can you believe it? They added a third camera to directly compete against all the other phones that were doing it. They removed somewhat useless features like 3D Touch. I'm just gonna get a bunch of comments that says, no, 3D Touch isn't actually useless. It didn't have the best implementation. But Apple started removing features like 3D Touch, and see what I mean about Apple forcing their services down your throat? Apple's just as bad as Microsoft, honestly. Not now. Go away. Apple removed 3D Touch, which basically was a thing that let you push harder into the screen to get extra options, and they replaced it with the basic tap and hold. But what this did was bring the cost of manufacturing down a little bit, which meant that they didn't increase the price of the iPhone, they kept it at the same price. But yeah, it really seemed like with this, Apple really decided to just make an actual Pro iPhone and make it a bit more consumer friendly. And give us some more actual functional features compared to just kind of what they were doing on iPhones for a few years in a row, like removing headphone jacks and other things. This phone definitely felt like a step in the right direction. Now let's talk about design. This is the last time the iPhone ever got a camera bump change, except if you count from the 12 to the 13, but we're not talking about those phones today. We're talking about the Pro iPhones. When moving from 2 cameras to 3 cameras, Apple changed to having this stovetop design, which is still used today, and it's absolutely ginormous. It's so large it makes this iPhone 11 look like an iPhone clone off of Temu or something. This camera design was super controversial at the time, even I thought it looked absolutely horrible. But because it's literally been here for 5 years in a row, people are pretty much used to it now, and anything else starts to look a bit weird, but I kind of miss when things used to actually change every so often. But the other noticeable change being the flattening of the sides. This is the last iPhone with round edges before they went back to flat on the iPhone 12. And honestly, holding the iPhone 11 Pro, I think the flat edges look cool, but realistically, round edges feel a lot nicer in the hand. It just like actually curves your hand. It doesn't feel like it's just kind of going sharp into your palm. Like it's not bad or anything, and it lets you stand your phone up too, so that's kind of fun. But this just feels a little more friendly to hold and touch. And the way the frosted glass curves around on the edge makes this really feel like a Pixel 8 Pro. Another thing they did was get rid of this shiny glass on the back of the iPhone, at least for the Pro models, and replace it with this really nice soft touch glass. I love soft touch glass. I love how it feels on my Pixel 8 Pro, and this feels just as good on the iPhone 11 Pro. There were some phones that did this, but this is really the phone that popularized it, and it still feels absolutely fantastic to this day, and makes anyone that's still using glossy glass look like a budget phone. For example, the Pixel 8 just looks nasty with it. The 8A actually looks better than the Pixel 8 because of that frosted glass. And also in another design change, they removed the iPhone text from the iPhone in a really bold move that shows just how recognizable their product is. And they were right about it. They pretty much minimized the back of these phones to absolutely nothing. The iPhone SE especially being the most minimal back on an iPhone ever. Look, you can see on the first ever iPhone it was down here as well. They really didn't change it. The one benefit being that when you actually held the phone up to your face, you could see the Apple logo. Now it's just kind of like, who really cares, because the camera and the shiny sides are really what's doing the heavy lifting, the actual design, instead of the logo, because everyone knows what an iPhone looks like now. Overall though, I would say this design still looks great. I think it holds up insanely well. Not all iPhone designs have looked fantastic today. Case in point, the iPhone 6. I hate how the iPhone 6 looks, it just looks like complete crap. However, when you look at a modern iPhone and then take a look at this, it just looks strange, uncanny with its small camera bump and rounded edges. But when you look at it in a vacuum, when you appreciate how the glass subtly curves off the side, it's actually still a really nice looking phone. I wish I had the green one. The green one's kind of cool. This is the black version. Also, this is the last ever iPhone designed fully under Jony Ive, so there is that. And you can sort of notice the design change right after. Flat. Samsung's previous phone, the Galaxy S10, Yes, this phone is correct. You could draw a direct lineage of Samsung design all the way back through their previous phones to the Galaxy S2. The main thing being the centered camera. The Galaxy Note 10 on the other hand is really where I feel Samsung started to lose their identity in design. The biggest one being moving the cameras from the center to the left. It's really not that big of a deal, but also it kind of feels like they're taking inspiration from a certain fruit company, and this sort of behavior has culminated to what the hell happened this year with Samsung's designs. Good lord. But also in other ways too. After mocking Apple relentlessly for removing the headphone jack on the iPhone 7, Samsung went and removed the headphone jack on the Galaxy Note 10. This and the Galaxy Fold being the first to do so. The Galaxy S10 had it. There was absolutely no reason to get rid of it, and there's still no reason to get rid of it today. It's still a bit cringe, especially with how Samsung was going about things, and how they were constantly mocking Apple. This phone also doesn't have an SD card reader. The Note 10 Plus does, but this one doesn't. Samsung would then later remove the SD card slot from all their phones, along with everyone in the industry. Why? I do like how they fully squared off the edges on the Galaxy Note, really giving it an actually iconic look. And this draws a direct lineage to the Galaxy S24 Ultra, which is probably Samsung's only unique looking phone left. Everything else just looks insanely boring and similar. The Galaxy Note 10 though is still a really nice looking phone, don't get me wrong, especially in the fancy psychedelic rainbow color that it came out in. I wish I got that one. That actually looks cool. Literally no one's doing fancy colors on their phones anymore. Actually, never mind. Google just released the Pixel 9 series and the colors on it are absolutely incredible. More colors on phones, please. Can we go back to the 2010s when that was more of a normal thing? Anyways, yeah, it's still a good design, it was just, you know, different. It marked a new era for Samsung. A more boring and safe Samsung, that is. On pretty much 99% of phones at the time, it was agreed that the power button would be on the right, and the volume buttons would be on the left side. Samsung also followed on the Galaxy S10 alongside this really silly Bixby button, but once you remapped it from Bixby, it was actually really nice having an extra button on your phone. I kind of want one back. And Apple added one back on their phone and plans to add another one? What is going on here? The Galaxy Note 10 and only the Galaxy Note 10 moved the power and volume buttons to the left side. Both of them all on the left side, making the right side completely barren of anything. But then on the S20 series, they moved both of these to the right side. So everything was kind of on the same side, which is where pretty much everyone's putting it now. I don't really know what I prefer, to be honest. Like, I'm used to having it on the right. This is still fine. Actually, you know what? This probably might feel a little bit worse. I mean, you can use your fingers. You got more fingers to work with here, but kind of got more power in your thumb here to press the buttons. It's nitpicking. It really doesn't matter. I just think it's an interesting design quirk and something that Samsung stuck with for like 6 months before they changed it again. Anyways, how can we talk about the design of the Galaxy Note 10 without talking about its most iconic feature? The S Pen. The Galaxy S Pen. That's what it's called. That's what it's legally called. The S Pen. What makes a Galaxy Note a Galaxy Note? Until it stopped being a Galaxy Note and is now an Ultra. Whatever. If you press this thing here, it clicks out, and then you can pull out the S Pen, giving you a bunch it's not even that funny. Giving you a bunch of different S Pen features, which is very cool. You can create a note, view all the notes, smart select, screen, you know what, you can read all this, I don't have to read it all out to you. But it's actually pretty cool, you could like draw on the screen and do other stuff. Honestly though, I'm underselling it a bit. I actually really like the S Pen as someone who likes digital art and just cool, unique features on phones, and probably one of Samsung's last unique things that they've still got going on. And using the phone with the S Pen feels great, especially considering the fact it's the only way I can use the top half of this phone. You can see here that the S Pen's actually got hover support, so you can hover over things. I like pens that do this. I don't like pens that don't. For example, Apple Pencil, but not the new ones on the new iPads. For some people, this feature is absolutely incredible. For people, I just dropped the pen. Cool. For people who take advantage of this feature, they absolutely love it. Being able to just pull out the pen and just start drawing. It's a Samsung Galaxy S Pen, that's what it's called. And it basically just lets you kind of draw, and you know, you can scroll that down and write more stuff. You can write a to-do list, like you can go out and buy lettuce. You can remind yourself to buy lettuce, and then you can erase that because, oh no, you weren't meant to buy lettuce, you were meant to buy cabbage. But you weren't meant to buy cabbage. Well, you were meant to buy cabbage, but you specifically were meant to buy the green cabbage. And then you can save the note and then just pop that in and go about your day. Like I said, for the people this appeals to, they know they love it. And the Galaxy Note is really the only phone that actually offers it. Also, it's funny, if you lose the S Pen, you just have this gaping hole in your phone, which if you're someone who misses the headphone jack, you can pretend it's a headphone jack. Get your mind out of the gutter. What happens if you try to put it in backwards? It doesn't let you. On some older Galaxy phones, you could do that and get it stuck. Also, you can click the end. Okay, well this phone isn't really in fantastic condition, so the S Pen clicky thing isn't doing well. It's meant to be like smooth like an actual pen. This one just, you can see it gets stuck. There's also this button on the side of the S Pen that I can't really get to do anything. I'm having issues with the S Pen where it's disconnected from the phone. I can't get it to connect. So doing it out here does absolutely nothing, but when it's hovering, then it does it. That's one of the issues with this. So I can't use the really unique features of the S Pen. For example, you can have your phone propped up with the camera and then press the S Pen to take a photo, which is kind of cool. It's pretty useful. Just pop your phone up and take a photo of like yourself. I actually really like unique features like that. Props to Samsung for actually cramming quite a bit of tech into this little thing. Okay, but enough blabbering. It's time to put these two phones head to head and see which one's better. Is anyone else getting a little bit bored of the tabletop set? I personally feel that way a little bit, so I'm going to start changing things up a little bit on the channel. Unfortunately, I will have to hold the mic, or else everything's gonna sound like complete crap. Now, when comparing these two phones, what could be more pro than pro cameras? At least that's what they all think. But clearly it's a big focus for these guys because, well, look how large the camera bumps on these things are. It's like, come on. And it's funny because they're tiny in comparison to what we have now. But both of these phones pretty much have the exact same camera layout. You got 3 cameras, an ultra-wide, a main shooter, and a telephoto lens. The telephoto lenses on these cameras aren't anything special because it's just your regular telephoto. There's no like fancy periscope zoom optics or anything. It's just your standard zoom. These go up to 10x digital zoom, probably I think like 2x optical. It's really nothing impressive. You know what, I can fact check this on the spot. Let's look at the Smaznug. What does this one do? We go to photo and you won't be able to see, but it should say 2. There's a little 2 down there. You press the 2 and it zooms in a little bit. And then you got your 0.5 ultra wide. So yeah, it only goes up to 10. It's not anything like the Galaxy S20 where it goes up to 100, because that was before that era. And on the iPhone side of things, we press this camera button here. I've never liked those press and hold buttons. They just, nah, don't like them. This one also has 2x zoom, mostly for portrait shots like on the iPhone X. I believe this is the first iPhone with an ultra-wide camera on it, so that's cool, I guess. But yeah, the camera's pretty good for 2019, and they still hold up pretty well today in pretty much everything besides zoom, because modern cameras, like my Pixel 8 Pro, which I'm currently filming with right now, they've all got periscope lenses in them where they have this mirror that's angled at 45 degrees and like an optical thing that goes horizontally in the phone to allow you to actually get some proper optical zoom. So my Pixel 8 Pro can do 5x optical and all the way up to 10x optical. That's bad. That's really bad. Fucking hell. So at least in modern smartphones compared to these guys, these ancient guys from 2019, I know, such a bygone era. But nowadays you get significantly better zoom in cameras. In fact, I'm actually filming all of this right now at 2x digital zoom. I'm not even using 5x optical because if I did, it would look something like this. And then this is how zoomed in it will be, but I don't think you'd want to see my face this up close with this much clarity. You know what, why don't I take a photo with this iPhone and let me show you what sort of setup I'm dealing with here. Alright, so I've started filming the video, and if we zoom in, you will see that I'm using a webcam placed on top of my monitor, which is filming my phone screen, and I'm using that as a reference to frame my shot. So, not the best, but kind of funny how jank that is. And we did it with the iPhone, let's do it with the Samsung. Excuse the mess, just pretend it all doesn't exist, and you can see that's what zooming in with the Samsung looks like when we're filming. And look, there's me on the monitor. Oh dear, that's 10x zoom with the Galaxy Note 10. I'll test these a little more in depth in the actual camera test portion of this video, which is now. I'm going to take both of these phones plus my Pixel 8 Pro, which I'm filming with right now, and take a bunch of photos with them and put them on screen so you can see the difference. Also, all of the uncompressed photos will be available on my website, as is the case for a bunch of my previous videos, so do check that out, and here are the photos. And there we have it. That is the camera test. But now, we've looked at the cameras, but what about the audio? Because what if you want to play back your videos, or you just want to listen to music, which, you know, a lot of people do. Let's have a quick look. Oh, another feature I should probably also mention here is that the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 has an always-on display, as you can see here, and it actually even has the little animation between it, which many Samsung phones don't. If you ever see a budget model that doesn't have that transition, that's literally a flag Samsung went to manually disable to make your phone worse. It's cool. As for the iPhone, while it has an OLED display, there's no always-on display on this thing. Apple could add one, they're just not going to. So to do the audio test, we're going to go onto YouTube, and because can't be stuff to sign into these devices, we're going to do it through the web browser. On iPhone, obviously it's through Safari, and on the Galaxy Note, there's actually two options on here. Not only is Samsung's default web browser included, we also have Google Chrome, which is just here. Enhanced ad privacy, oh no. I think this is that thing. No. Site suggested ads, no. And topics, no. You know what? This is why I stopped using Google Chrome. Wow, and then we get given news. Who cares? Yeah, you can see which experience feels a little more premium out of the box. Oh hey, look at that, we got a YouTube thing right there. How convenient. And on iPhone, you can't use the S Pen with it, so we're gonna have to go down here and search up YouTube. I find it very interesting that nowadays on YouTube, if you're not signed in, YouTube just straight up doesn't recommend you videos anymore until you actually start watching stuff. So in order to do this audio test, I think it's time for a staircase.wav moment. What is staircase.wav? Well, allow me to introduce you if you haven't seen it yet. Look at that, it's already starting to play. Look how eager it is. And you can see how the videos just sort of wrap off the edge of the phone because of the curved edges. I don't like curved edges on phones, but also it is kind of cool. Seeing the stuff just go over the edge of the phone, there is something endearing about it. So actually, typically I would have to go onto my channel, then click onto my second channel, but if we scroll down here, we've got this video from my second channel which is shown up. And also, if you want to hear my opinion on modern Samsung, this is a good video to check out. Anyways, let's go into here. And then we have this video here, staircase.wav. While we have that up, I'm going to get it up on the iPhone. Here we are, now we have staircase.wav. Let's tap on them both. Are we going to get an ad? We are! Oh my god, it's the same ad too! Oh my god, I can't... Oh, that's right, I can't skip. It's so... keep forgetting what I can do, what I can't do. Alright, let's run this back. Let's go full screen. Crank the volume. Oh yeah. And now it's time to compare the pair. Which one has the better speakers? So this one does have dual speakers out of the earpiece and on the bottom here. Okay, alright. Interesting. I feel the entire back of the phone vibrating. And if I block this, it's definitely a lot quieter. Is this an under-display speaker? Hold on a second, I gotta check this out. Alright, iPhone 12, give me some info. Okay, Reddit, let's see if you're correct. That's right, I gotta use this. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. Oh my god, you can hover over it like with a mouse. Oh, that's sick. I love that. That's actually a really good feature. Damn, I kind of like the S Pen. So interesting, so this top bit up here is also acting as a speaker. But yeah, I can feel the entire back of the phone vibrating. I'm not sure if the cracked glass is actually affecting the sound. Oh wow. Okay, when I put that down on the table, it's really reverberating on the table and making a really deep bassy hum. That is strange, what the hell? All I know is that the Galaxy Note 10 is significantly louder than the iPhone 11 Pro. I guess I'm gonna have to give the Galaxy Note 10 the win for this because it's louder, so I'm gonna try some other tracks real quick because the bassiness of this is really, it's really interesting to me. Can you hear the difference in bass? Listen to this, right? Not on the table. You can't hear it. You can really hear the bass when I put it on the table. I feel also the top end is a little more harsh and distorted on the Galaxy Note 10 as well compared to the iPhone. I will say using this phone to browse the internet just now, I did feel a little bit of sluggishness loading some of the pages. While on the iPhone, it was a little bit of a smoother experience, mostly because it does have a bit more of a powerful chip and more dedicated software on it. That software being iOS, of course. So I actually went and signed into the devices and we're going to test the performance. And what better way to test the performance of these devices than with Minecraft? And to do that, we're going to go onto each phone's respective store. On the iPhone, we've got the App Store. On the Android, we got the Play Store. The Play Store, when you first open it, introduces you to its new search tab. okay, but honestly pretty good because the top half of this phone doesn't work, so we can search without the S Pen. Yippee! Also, I'm going to say this right now, the Samsung automatically wins by default because it has a number row on it. It's 2024. Why does the iPhone still not have a number row on it? Having to just go into the numbers section like an absolute caveman. I hate this. This is genuinely one of the things that is stopping me from switching to iPhone. Oh, it's a little too high. Can we do landscape? Yeah, there we go. I just realized we're not really going to be able to play this because this side of the screen doesn't... Oh, great. That's fun. Okay. So it seems like Minecraft for the Galaxy has actually loaded faster. So it seems like the Galaxy is actually defaulting to more chunks than the iPhone. You know what? Let's do that and then we can adjust it to be 1-to-1 later. Oh, look at that. It's already learnt Frogfadog. Let's tap that in. Select. Damn it, I didn't get it right. Okay, iPhone's got a little bit of advantage. Proceed. Okay, Samsung. Look at that, you're in. And I think we're gonna turn it this way just so I'll be able to actually, use the joystick and then we could just play like an absolute caveman. It's not fantastic because the screen is broken, but look at that, we are getting some good frame rates over here. And as for the iPhone, things are looking pretty good still on here as well. I might need to actually switch this to creative to really get advantage of this. Alright, let's do creative instead. Alright, let's create 3, 2, 1. Ah, this time we got it at the exact same time. Wow, is the Samsung beating the iPhone? It's kind of crazy. You know, I thought iPhones kind of had the performance crown. There you go, look at that. Well, would you look at that in terms of real-world game performance? Interesting. Alright, let's fly up, because we're going to be really increasing the render distance. I noticed a bit of graphical glitching on the Samsung with the sky. What's going on there? So you can really see how much 8 chunks is when you look around and see, it's not really much. I don't know what's up with the graphical glitches on the Samsung though, it's a bit strange. Let's go into the settings real quick. Let's increase this as far as we can, and let's see how they both deal with it. 13 chunks. Oh, 22 chunks. Okay, there's a lot more in the Android version. Let's limit it to 13 just to do a fair comparison. That's crazy. Why is there such a massive difference? Alright, and looking around real quick on the iPhone, performance is still fine. They both seem to be alright. I think the Samsung's dropping a few frames here and there. The iPhone is still absolutely silky smooth. But yeah, the Samsung, I am noticing some frame drops here. Now we're really seeing a bit of difference in performance here. Let's put this up to its max though. Go away, S Pen. Stop, go, move. So at least this gives you the option to absolutely make it chug, but yeah, now it's starting to slow down a little bit. Again, it really didn't recommend it, and do you really need 22 chunks? Even on Java Edition, do you need 22 chunks? Not really. Like 12 chunks is a pretty good sweet spot, honestly. It is chugging, but at least it gives you the option to do it, while the iPhone, you're basically just stuck at 12, 13 chunks and doesn't let you go higher. There probably is a way to go higher, but I don't really care. Alright, let's drop down. A bit of a few frame drops there, and on the Samsung, yeah, some frame drops too. How hot are these phones getting? The Samsung is burning to the touch, and the iPhone is pretty cool. Interesting. I keep using the pen on the iPhone like it's gonna work. It's not gonna work. I need some stress tests. Where are the spawn eggs? I don't play the Bedrock version of Minecraft. It's a bit of a cringe version. By the way, now's a good time for me to advertise that I actually run a Minecraft server exclusively for channel members. It's Java and Bedrock compatible. Well, it's actually a Java server with Geyser MC support. But yeah, if you want exclusive Frogfadog Minecraft server, plus bonus videos, become a channel member. I don't chill it hard enough in videos, so here we go. We're going to use some slime spawn eggs, simply due to the fact that slimes can be pretty resource intensive. I can just hold it down. This isn't really a scientific test, but I know in terms of performance, Bedrock Edition's a little bit better than Java because it's just built on a better platform, but it's also a worse version of the game.
in many other ways, but performance is not one of them. Alright, let's have a little look around, and yeah, both phones are handling it just fine. Of course, if you're going to play more intensive games, I assume that you're going to have a bit of a harder time, but Minecraft, these phones run it absolutely no problem. So enjoy Minecrafting if you get both of these phones. On the Samsung, it will be getting a bit hotter. It's not like burning to the touch, but it's like pretty warm and toasty. On the iPhone's remaining pretty cool. Yeah, I don't really see any issues with this. Tap to emote. Oh, I hate this version of Minecraft. Let's go back home. Okay, apparently going home sends you back to the Play Store. Interesting. And then on here, we swipe up and we're out. Okay, the iPhone is definitely getting a little bit hot now. I can feel it, and the Samsung is definitely hotter. Seems like the iPhone would probably have the edge in performance, but they're pretty similar. In terms of just pure phone features, I think the Samsung's got a lot more gimmicks and other features going on. For example, like it has the S Pen, it's got all this fancy stuff you can do. Let's use some of this stuff. Get out of here, iPhone. It's Samsung time. We can view all our notes, we can see the ones from before. Like for example, when we were looking at buying cabbage, live messages. I can take a photo to write on, what? Oh, I pressed the home button. Oh, here we go, Gemini. Hi Gemini, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you for asking. I hope you and your loved ones are safe and healthy.
This is
Let me know if I can help with something.
This is Google Assistant, not Gemini. Go away, please. Screen write. It's just taking a screenshot and then letting you doodle it up. Oh yeah, I love doodling up. We can add things. Look at all of our options. Bixby Vision, Magnify, Glance, you can write on a calendar, we can open apps. Yeah. What else is on here? There's probably some other stuff. Let's talk about multitasking. On the iPhone, if you want to multitask, you can't. Like the only way to really multitask is to slide between apps like this, which is still not too bad, but also it's not fantastic for some people. Show a person over the age of 40 how to do that on their phone and they will freak out. Whilst on the Samsung, you can do quite a bit more. We can go into here. What can we do? We can open up Play Store and we can take another app and, for example, Notes. Okay, it's only letting me do a popover and a... What? Why can't I split screen anything? What's going on? Alright, let's do this. Open and split screen view. Let's do messages. Okay, there we go. And then you can actually split screen apps on here. Again, can't really do that on an iPhone. This is 0 options that actually let you do anything close to that. You can just start split screening. Surely if I do this... there we go. So on the Samsung, you can have 2 apps on split screen, plus a floating app as well. And then also, if you feel so inclined, you can get another floating app. So yeah, you can do quite a bit on a Samsung phone. You can just have a bajillion floating apps around like a desktop. This is kind of something I really miss doing. I used to use this feature all the time back when I used Samsung. Google, please add it to your phones. iPhone, I know you're never gonna add it. At least split screen. Come on, guys. I will say though, when you are using it like this is probably where you'll see the phone start to chug a little bit, especially a phone of this age. I mean, it's handling it pretty well, but not really doing anything too intensive right now. I don't care if it's jank. I like having the option to be able to be jank if I want. The iPhone philosophy is more limitations, but more stable. I guess speaking of customization, other weird stuff, let's take a look at GoodLock, which is Samsung's official Power Tools customizer thing that they have. I haven't really been able to play around with Pentastic before because I've never really owned a Galaxy Note that's been able to run it. But yeah, you can like change the pointer, you can make it a heart, if you're someone who's into that. You can make it a crocro. I mean, yeah, I guess someone would like that. Or you can just make it a custom image as well. You can even change the little menu that pops, so you can have the default, a compact menu, a line menu, circle, even a retro one if you want to make your phone look like TouchWiz. Let's see, Navstar, you can just straight up change all the buttons on the bottom here. So yeah, just all this different stuff. Like for example, this is actually a GoodLock customization thing here. You know, I've never really liked this multitasking menu, but luckily you don't have to put up with it because you can just change it out for something that's a little more like the iPhone if you're used to it. There we go, fans out and looks exactly the same. You can make it a vertical list too if you're someone who likes old Samsung, I guess. Or you can make it a list but like slightly different. Yeah, there's just lots of options. Lots of options for customization. But which phone is better, I hear you cry? Well, it's complicated. If you're someone who just needs a phone, if you just need a phone to work, you don't care about fancy bells and whistles and stuff, I'd probably lean more towards the iPhone because you get a bit more stability. The performance is better than the Galaxy Note 10. You're actually up to date on software. Like, this phone is getting iOS 18. And so is the previous model, the iPhone XS. As for this guy here only got 4 years of software updates. And if we go into settings, you can see that there's pretty much only ever got Android 12 and One UI 4. Kind of pathetic. There's no reason why this thing can't run One UI 6 or 7. You definitely get better software support for now on the iPhone. This will likely get updates for a few more years. So again, if you're just like a basic phone user, this one works perfectly fine. And I'm not trying to make the Galaxy Note sound like it's completely unusable, because even for, again, basic phone usage, both of these phones are completely fine for that. But with the Samsung, you get a bit more of that extra power user stuff, like all that multitasking stuff I was able to show you and all that customization. But it does come at the cost of like worse software support. This phone hasn't actually gotten a new Android version for a few years now. And of course, you can mod custom ROMs onto this thing, but there's risks involved with that, and regular people are never ever going to do anything like that. We're pretty much at a point now where phones from 5 years ago can basically do 99% of what people need out of a phone, minus some slowness here and there. They're basically completely fine nowadays. Unless you need the absolute top of the line performance, the best cameras, you can give these phones to people and most people aren't going to really notice the difference. Which is funny because if we went back to 2019 when these phones were new and you gave them a 5-year-old phone from that time period, 2014, you'd be looking at an iPhone 6 and a Samsung Galaxy S5 or Note 4. And yeah, using those phones in 2019 was definitely more of a struggle than using these today. And it really just goes to show how well phones can hold up nowadays. As for which one I prefer, I do like the iPhone 11 Pro. It's a very nice, well-rounded phone. I know the Galaxy Note 10 Plus has a high refresh rate screen. I think it's 90Hz, while this has only got 60Hz, so I really am a fan of the S Pen. So I think probably out of these two, I think I like the Galaxy Note a bit more, especially with all the power user stuff you can do with it. Maybe if you can get a custom ROM on this to bring this up to date and still keep all the Samsung features, then it would be perfect. Same can't be said about this guy when this thing loses support, but it's still got a few more years left. Back in you go, buddy. My name is Frogfrock. You can say that however you want. I really don't care. New videos whenever I like. Consider becoming a channel member like all these people on the screen have. You get bonus videos, early peeks at my upcoming videos, custom Discord server roles, and even your very own Minecraft server, starting at $1 a month. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.